York State is taking an extra step to protect victims of gender-based and domestic violence.
A free program aimed at protecting their privacy and limiting information listed in public records available. And here to tell us more about it is New York Secretary of State and East Harlem native Robert Rodriguez. So Secretary Rodriguez, great to have you here this morning.
Happy to be here.
Let's raise awareness about this. I didn't know about this, right? And the Address Confidentiality Program, an important safeguard particularly for victims of violence, right? So explain to us how it works and what people need to know.
Sure, it's a really important program, and it's been around since 2012, but it's important. It's an important service to many New Yorkers. It allows folks to be able to get their life back on track with privacy. We know that violence happens oftentimes affecting a variety of different people. We have stalking incidents, we have domestic violence, gender-based violence, victims of human trafficking, and reproductive health workers who are particularly impacted and need their privacy. This gives them a way to do that. So the state will host a mailbox on behalf of these individuals who reside in the state of New York. We're the only folks who know where they actually really live, so they can receive legal documents, court documents, medical information, all of those things that are required to have a, quote-unquote normal life or get yourself back on track. We will receive that information. We keep that address and information confidential, and we relay their mail to them where they actually live.
That's amazing. It's almost like a witness protection program.
It is.
It really
it is. It's something that we're very proud of. We have had 7,000 people participate in the program, 4,000 currently, and we'd like as many people who need this service to avail themselves of it.
You know, the statistics show that usually happen, like the incidents happen right after someone in a violent relationship leaves, right? And, and it's really interesting, though, because 75% of domestic violence-related homicides occur upon separation. There's also a 75% increase of violence upon separation for at least 2 years. So can you talk about how that your program actually addresses this issue?
So we focus particularly on that hot time period or cooling off period that's required, and making sure that folks have immediate access to this service. So we encourage people to reach out. And when they do, we begin that service, the Address Confidentiality service, immediately. But we also try to connect them with different domestic violence support groups. We have the Office for Domestic Violence that we will connect them to, and connect them to service providers in their community that can help them with this transition. So it's really not just helping to protect those individuals and make sure they get the services that they need, including this the mail confidentiality service.
So help me understand, a hypothetical right here is somebody's in a domestic violence situation, they get out of it, they move, and a lot of times it's easy to find out where somebody lives. You go into Google, you type in a name and an address pops up. With this program, that address won't be there?
Nope, they will get an address to us in Albany
okay.
for our address confidentiality
That's amazing.
program.
So how does somebody actually sign up to do that, and how long does the process take?
Great. So we started immediately upon calling, and we'll get important information that we need in order to enroll you. But once you're enrolled, that begins, and it doesn't end until you choose to leave the program or you no longer reside in the state of New York. And so I would encourage folks who are interested in looking into this to call us at 1-800-350-4595 to begin that process.
Okay.
Can you talk about this pledge of accountability that you signed?
Sure.
That talks about more men getting involved in this conversation about domestic violence.
It's important. We know that 80% of the victims of domestic violence are women, but men have to be part of that conversation. And I think part of it is making sure that we raise awareness and have those conversations early, not just as grown-ups and adults, but even with our children about how we interact and what's okay and what's not. So I think this is a way of raising that kind of awareness and addressing some of the stigma. As a Latino male, in a community, growing up in a community like East Harlem, where we still have very high percentages of domestic violence incidences, some of the highest in the city, it's important that we break the silence, and deal with some of the cultural and societal issues around this. And one of those first steps is saying, we can talk about it. We can talk about it in our houses, and we can talk about it with our children.
Absolutely. So this is obviously Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which is why we're talking about this. But if somebody wants to sign up for this program that's not a victim of domestic violence, but say is trying to get out of a gang situation or whatever violent situation they are in that may not be domestic violence related, is this for them as well?
For orders of protections, if you are in a violent situation, that's why we mentioned stalking.
Okay.
Then and you need that level of confidentiality and protection, we are there for you.
And all it takes is a phone call.
Yes, phone call and on the web. You can also sign up online and begin the process there as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Secretary of State Robert Rodriguez.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your time today.
Happy to be here.